Okay, there we go. So, of course, these skills are going to help us improve on our capitalization and identifying what we need to capitalize. So again, they have the definition here. A proper noun is a name that identifies a particular person, place, or thing. And a proper adjective is a description based on that proper noun. So, for instance, the University of North Carolina, that's a proper noun. University of, you got capital U, capital N, capital C. And then in the adjective, the proper adjective would be French bread, which I think I used that as an example a second ago. So like nationalities and things. And a common noun or adjective is just a label. So if you're not talking about this, specifically University of North Carolina or the Ohio State University, it's going to just be a university in North Carolina. North Carolina, of course, still gets capitalized because it's a state. And the same thing with just like white bread, wheat bread, any of that, that's not specific to any, nationality or, there's not a proper adjective there. So we don't have to worry about any capitalization. And in the corner over here, it says a proper noun may contain words that are not always capitalized in other contexts. For example, the word university, like we just said, is capitalized when it refers to a specific university, such as the University of North Carolina. And down below, proper nouns name specific people, places, or things, just reiterating that idea. So the city here, the common noun city, horse, novel, doctor, drugstore, paper towel, day. If you're using those in a sentence, you're not going to capitalize those. But specific places, Dallas, specific horse, Secretariat, a novel, we talked about creative works, they always get capitalized, The Great Gatsby, professional and official titles. So Dr. Susan Williams, in that case, that's part of her title. So you're going to capitalize the D for doctor. And then kind of getting into that brands thing that I mentioned. So if it's a particular store like Kroger or, Value Plus Drugs like they have here, Target, things like that are going to be capitalized. And again, brand named items. So if I'm going to the store for paper towels and my wife says, get Bounty paper towels, that, it's going to be capital B, just like here, quick, clean paper towels will be capitalized. And again, any reference to days, months, years, holidays, those will all be capitalized. So today's Monday, that's going to have a capital M. Right there, they have Tuesday. Today's date would be capitalized. So Monday, October 18th, the October, you would have a capital O there as well. Okay, let's take a look at the quiz. Let's see here. Okay. So once again, our rule specifics as far as what we're looking at. Our test taking tip: read passages carefully and identify any words that should be capitalized. Determining the capitalization errors as you read will help you save time when you answer GED test questions. If you get to a section in your GED language arts test, capitalization should be something that, you can move fairly quickly through with some care. You don't want to just like fly through it and, miss things, but you can probably pick those things up as you go and not have to like reread them, maybe 2 or 3 times. Capri, do you want to answer this question for us?
Sure. The question says, I found good recipes for Thai dishes in an article called Simply Noodles. Which correction should be made to this sentence? A, capitalized recipe and Thai. B, capitalized dishes and noodles. C, capitalized Thai and article. Or D, capitalized Thai and noodles. Capital, I think the answer is D.
Yeah, D. So there we have, we're talking about nationalities, ethnicities, things like that. So Thai, of course, and then noodles, because it's part of the article title, right? So let's go down here. Actually, I should go ahead and click that one. Thai and noodles. And we'll have a paragraph. Amina, are you going to be able to read any today or answer questions? Are you available? All right, I think today what we'll do, instead of like me reading through it one whole time, we'll just kind of answer them as we go. So I'll read up to the first option here, and we'll let you guys answer it, and then we'll move on. I might have you read a little bit, Capri.
Okay.
So it looks like we have a memo here to all agencies. Subject: an explanation of federal holidays. As a government agency, we think it is important that our employees understand the history of our country's federal holidays. Below is a brief review. In 1870, Congress passed a law that officially recognized 4 federal holidays. They include, my box will open up here. There we go. Which one do we want to select here?
A.
A, New Year's Day. So that's correct, right? Just like all the holidays, New Year's Day as a specific holiday will be capitalized. So New Year's Day on January 1st, Independence Day on July 4th, Thanksgiving on the last Thursday of November, and Christmas on December 25th. Over time, Congress has passed laws that have set up new federal holidays. Today, we celebrate 10 federal holidays each year. In 1879, Congress established the nation's 5th federal holiday. This holiday is celebrated on the 3rd Monday of February, and most people know it as President's Day. On this day, Americans honor all of the people who have served as A, B, C, or D.
A.
A. Now, this one's a little tricky, and I'm not surprised that you would go for that one. It's actually C. President, and
because it's more than one.
Yeah. Whenever you see president capitalized, it'll be before a specific president. So if you said President Joe Biden, then you would have capital P in front of it. In this case, it's not capitalized. There's some kind of ticky-tacky rules that particularly like, the government and stuff will get in where they all want to capitalize certain things, and you may see it, like when we say POTUS, you hear that a lot. You kind of get it in your head that you want all of those to be capitalized. But the actual rule is you would leave president lowercase, and then of course, because the United States would always be capitalized because it's a specific location, then that remains capitalized.
Gotcha.
So C, President of the United States. And then Armistice Day. Oh, wait, I'm skipping way too far. On Memorial Day, Americans honor all of the U.S. soldiers who fought and died for their country. This holiday is held on the last, is it A, B, C, D? Yeah, right, because we have a day and a month. So both of those would be capitalized regardless. So Monday of May, D. Labor Day became the nation's 7th federal holiday in 1894. On this day, Americans honor the workers of the nation. Labor Day is held on the first Monday of September. Armistice Day was established in 1938. Congress later changed the name to Veterans Day to honor all of the soldiers who served in the United States Armed Forces. In 1968, Congress recognized Columbus Day to remember Christopher Columbus's voyage to North America. Columbus Day is held on the second Monday of October. Finally, Congress passed a law in 1983 to set aside the third Monday of January to honor the accomplishments of Dr. Martin Luther King. Which one we need there?
The answer is A, but A and B are the same. Am I not seeing right?
No, it's actually B. And yeah, they look pretty similar, but the J over here in junior
right.
is
Okay, I see.
capitalized. Yeah, and that's what you want. You want Dr. Martin Luther King, of course, proper name, proper noun. He's got a title, doctor, which is going to be capitalized, and then junior, senior, anything that comes at the end of a name, which you don't see a whole lot, but typically it'll be like junior. And if you see that, that's going to be capitalized as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, let's skip on here. Let me get to the workbook. All right, our capitalization workbook. So again, proper nouns, proper adjectives, and of course they add a few here, right? So we were talking about this, like a brand name, like Honda Civic. That's a thing, a specific thing with a specific title that you're going to apply to that item. And then of course, people's titles, which we already talked about. And again, any type of creative works, song titles, books, movies, magazine articles, anything like that will receive capitalization as well. And yeah, they have some more examples for us. And then over here, it says capitalize major words in titles. For example, in the gloaming, the English patient, a stay of execution for the wolves. And you'll notice in titles like that, what they mean by major words is like your subjects and verbs, things like that, conjunctions, articles, those things, prepositions, those will not be capitalized. So of course, it's always the first word or the first letter of the first word. So in this case, the English patient, all of that is capitalized. But you see here a stay of execution for the wolves. Of, for, and the do not get capitalized. Same thing up here in the gloaming. The doesn't get capitalized, just your major words, your subjects, your verbs, things like that. And then in the second box, same thing, we're talking about geography, bodies of water. River is capitalized in the Nile River because it's part of the name. Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, the Ohio River. So this rule holds true for all river names as well as names of lakes and oceans. So Lake Superior, Salt Lake City, or the Great Salt Lake, anything like that is going to be capitalized. And we see it in use here in our examples. The common nouns, the doctor, the ocean, the river, the judge, none of which would be capitalized. But in their proper forms, if you're referring to a specific doctor, you would capitalize doctor. Same thing with a specific ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, the Arctic Ocean, river, the Nile River, like they have there, the New River, anything like that. And same thing, just like doctor, other titles like judge would also get capitalized. So Judge Alex Roth. And then adjectives, like we said, descriptive words, if they're proper adjectives, they're going to get capitalized. So dark chocolate, not going to capitalize anything there. If you're talking specifically about Belgian chocolate, then you capitalize it. National government, not specific. United States government, that's specific. You're going to capitalize United States. Tennis shoe, nothing specific there. If you're talking about a brand name, Nike, Adidas, anything like that, then yeah, you're gonna capitalize. And of course, just the brand name. It's still just still just a running shoe, but the brand would be capitalized. And then foreign accent, no, that's not specific. If you're talking about French, German, anything like that, that's going to be capitalized. All right, any questions so far? Everything making sense? Okay. And it's another one. If you're writing or something and you feel uncertain about capitalization, there's a lot of good, like guides online and writer's manuals, style manuals, and stuff like that that'll help you along. When I was kind of going through this earlier, I was kind of questioning some of the stuff because I, as a historian, I run into a lot of weird capitalization. There's organizations that want to capitalize things for no good reason sometimes, like the U.S. Army always wants to make sure the Army in every sentence is capitalized. So sometimes there's specific guidelines if you're writing for like certain technical elements. But just keep in mind, if you're writing and you feel unsure about something, just look it up, and they'll have guidelines for you. But for testing purposes, it's going to be fairly basic. They're not going to throw anything real crazy at you. It's going to be stuff like just what's in here, just what's in Paxson. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I just went too far. We need to finish our capitalization workbook. Okay. And then again, here, there's a tip for you. When referring to a place in general terms, such as my favorite gym, you use lowercase letters. When using real names such as Active Gym, Planet Fitness, LA Fitness, anything like that, you'd use capital letters. Logic can help you decide when to capitalize. All right, Capri, you want to take this question for us?
Sure. Last Saturday, Leo saw his friend's band play at the coffee shop on Main Street. Which correction should be made to the sentence? Change Saturday to Saturday, change friend's band to friend's band, change coffee shop to coffee shop, change street to street. And I think the answer is A, capitalize Saturday.
You got it. Right to it. A, Saturday should be capitalized. Days of the week, months, year, all should be capitalized. Excuse me. All right, go ahead with question 2.
The Mississippi River flows through several major American cities. Which correction should be made to the sentence? I think the answer is C, capitalize American.
Yes. That's the only change that needs to be made. Change lowercase a to uppercase A for American, which is a proper adjective. Okay. So now, Net 360 tips for keeping your internet use safe. Welcome to the Net 360 internet experience. The internet has become a useful tool connecting millions of people every day. Because of the internet, what do you think there? A, B, C, or D?
C.
B?
C as in cat.
C. There you go. Beatles fan in Botswana. So Beatles being a group, a band, which they didn't really mention that earlier, but of course band names is sort of like a creative work. They're going to be capitalized. And then Botswana being an actual location is going to be capitalized. So Beatles fans in Botswana can use a message board to discuss with a fan in Australia what makes
C.
Rubber Soul, a great album. Rubber Soul's creative work. That's the only specific thing in that little phrase there. A great album, nothing specific there. So Rubber Soul is going to be capitalized. Let's click C. Although using the internet can be fun, it can also affect a person's life negatively if he or she is not careful. Net 360 internet users should follow a simple a few simple guidelines to help keep their personal information safe. Never open an email attachment from a sender whom you do not know. Attachments may contain viruses or spyware that can infect your computer when you open them. When posting on a message board or social networking site, such as
A.
Facebook or Craigslist, capital F, capital C, which is funny because Facebook in its its logo is a lowercase f, and a lot of times you'll see for some reason with technology companies and stuff, they like to throw in lowercase letters like iPhone, right? If you own an Apple iPhone, that starts with a lowercase I. But the rule still is, because that's a company, that's a specific brand. If you were to write about it, you're going to use a capital F. So let's move on here. Facebook or Craigslist do not provide any information about yourself that you do not want everyone to know. Never send your bank account, credit card, or
I think B as in dog.
Social Security is a specific office.
Okay. So it doesn't just.
It would get.
So then it would be A.
It's actually B.
What?
Yeah. Because and this is another one. So yeah, Social Security is like a specific thing.
Right.
And it's an organization. It's actually several different things, right? It's actually an organization, and it's a benefit that we receive, and it's all this. So it's capitalized. Number, of course, is not, because it can apply to anything less specific, but Social Security will be capitalized.
Okay.
All right. And let's see, now we have a letter here to all employees, Garland County Hospital Human Resources Department. We have a woman with a title. What do you think about this?
I think the answer is C.
C? Close.
Oh, wait, no, it's A. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The director needs to be capitalized as well.
Exactly. Yeah, because that's her full title. In other cases, like we just did with the Social Security number, sure, there's a lot of directors too, but in this case, the whole thing is part of her title. So all of it is going to be included as capitalized. So Lana Little, Human Resources Director. Subject: workplace technology rules. In order to create a more productive working environment, please observe the following guidelines when using technology in the workplace. Effective beginning Tuesday, February 20th. D, going right to it. Yep, all of that's capitalized. Set all cell phones to silent when entering an area of.
B as in boy.
Perfect. Now we actually get a hint up here, because right there at the top is the name of the hospital. So it's one of those test taking skills. Sometimes you can look around for the answer if you're careful. And again, right, that's the entire name of the hospital, Garland County Hospital. So all of that's going to be capitalized. In the area of Garland County Hospital, vibrations as well as ringtones disrupt others who are working around you. In addition to not using cell phones, headphones, or wireless earpieces in common areas, including restrooms. Again, these habits disrupt others who are using these areas. As much as possible, work-related telephone calls should occur at your desk or within your office. Personal phone calls should be limited and should not interfere with your work or interrupt the ability of others to work around you. Finally, do not involve coworkers in blogging or social networking. Which one we go with here?
I think the answer is B. Because it's not being really specific.
Exactly. Perfect. Lowercase for blocking or social networking, including visual or text entries. While we understand that some coworkers may be your friends outside of work, please use caution and common sense in your interactions that can be seen, heard, or read by others. By keeping your work life and private life separate, you will avoid awkward situations at work that may damage people's reputations or careers. Okay. And then a letter to the editor here. Is fighting necessary in hockey? So, dear editor, just as there are two sides to every hockey fight, there are two sides to the discussion of whether the National Hockey League.
A.
Yep, that's the full name of the league. Same thing with like National Football League, National Basketball Association, any type of sports organization, it's going to be capitalized. So whether the National Hockey League should ban fighting, both sides claim that their views have the longevity and popularity of the sport in mind. Like others, I've been torn on the issue. Supporters of a ban argue that fighting puts players in too much danger. As an example, some people point to the death of Don Sanderson, who hit his head during a fight and died 3 weeks later. Supporters also argue that a ban on fighting would not only protect players, but also encourage more families to attend games without exposing children to violence. A sports analyst, Elton Royce Jr.
C.
Yep. Elton Royce Jr., just like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., all of that's going to be capitalized. Elton Royce Jr. notes a ban on fighting would increase the sport's popularity and bring in new fans. Supporters of fighting argue that some fans would stop watching the game if combat between players were banned. Another view appearing in the article, A Fight to the Finish.
A. No, I'm sorry. I chose B. I don't know. I
There
was
you go.
looking at your screen.
Yeah. Right
Instead
on.
of my computer. Sorry, there we go.
Got it. Yep. B, it's an article, A Fight to the Finish, suggests that fighting in the NHL brings in more fans than it keeps away. Also, some supporters believe that a ban would be ineffective. Other sports have banned fighting, but brawling continues. While a ban might be ineffective, does it make sense to condone brawling? While I see both sides of the argument, I'm finding it hard to set on the fence. I'm ready to commit to a ban. Is the NHL? Sincerely, Dwayne Leonard, president of Leonard Sports Marketing.
I chose A.
Yes, that's his full title, President, Leonard Sports Marketing. Very good. Okay, that is all for capitalization. Before we move on, any questions?
Nope, I don't have any.
Good deal. Yeah, so just, keep in mind specific places, people, things are going to receive capitalization, brands, days of the week, holidays, months of the year. And then anything else that gets kind of technical, if you're writing about it, you may need to look it up. But I think anything for your test is going to be those sort of specific ideas. You're going to run into titles of people. So doctor, junior, and things like their specific titles if they work for a specific organization with a specific title. All right. So on to sentence fragments. So here the objective is going to be identify and write complete sentences, correct sentence fragments, and recognize sentence components. So let's take a look and see what we have here in lesson 10. All right, start this up.
Every complete sentence contains a subject and a verb, and must express a complete idea or make a complete statement. A group of words missing a subject, verb, or complete idea is a sentence fragment, which is usually incorrect. A sentence fragment cannot stand alone because it is not a complete idea. To correct a sentence fragment, you can combine it with a complete sentence by using a comma or a connecting word. You can also add the missing sentence component, such as a subject or a verb. Complete sentences must begin with a capital letter and end with punctuation, such as a period ends a statement, an exclamation point emphasizes or expresses excitement, or a question mark indicates a question.
Right. So complete sentence basically has to have three parts. It has a subject, it has a verb that subject is engaging in, right? That subject is whatever action is taking place by that verb. And then to finish it, what is the action that's occurring, right? I ate a sandwich. So I being the subject, ate being the verb, a sandwich is the rest of the idea. It's the action, or it's what I am acting on. In sentence fragments, we run into them sometimes if we're in a rush and we're writing. Sometimes, of course, we just in conversational grammar in English, sometimes we do not speak in complete sentences. And sometimes context matters. So if we're talking to people, they kind of understand what we're saying. And of course, along with everything else, punctuation is the other way that's going to make a complete sentence. So I always like to think of it, words get us most of the way to how we express our ideas and communicate with each other. But punctuation is what brings it clarity and keeps our ideas from getting muddled. And it's all sort of in play when we get to making sure that we're not using sentence fragments. So we'll take a look and see what examples they have here. So we have some sort of short little diagrams here. And it tells us exactly what we should be looking for. So we have a subject, and our subject always identifies who or what the sentence is about. Our verb identifies the action performed by the subject. And complete idea, right? That represents a whole thought. That's what finishes the sentence and makes it stand alone. And over here in our little boxes, it says some imperative sentence, such as hurry, have an implied subject. The subject, you, is understood but not stated. You're probably going to encounter that more in like fiction. If you're reading, you may see things like that, like little short sentences or ideas. And then secondly, a sentence that asks a question often begins with who, what, when, where, why, or how. And questions can also begin with did, do, should, could, or would. And of course, to make that a complete sentence, you would start, or you would end with a question mark. So we take a look at our examples up here. We have Joe bought a dog. Really simple, 4-word sentence. Joe is the subject, bought is the verb, a dog makes that a complete sentence. That is what Joe is buying, a dog. We end with the period and punctuation, nice and simple. Same thing with I won the lottery. Here we're using an exclamation point to emphasize that fact, right? Because that's exciting. We can emphasize it. So I is the subject, won, the verb, the lottery is the complete sentence. And complete idea here, who is your favorite athlete? Who is the subject here, is the verb. Your favorite athlete completes the idea. We end with the question mark as punctuation. Okay. Let's see here. We'll go to our quiz. Okay. Once again, some test taking tips. To help determine whether a sentence is complete, circle or underline the subject, verb, and complete idea. Also remember that the sentence must end with a period, an exclamation point, or a question mark. And, again, if you're writing, I always say if you can read aloud, but one way or the other, you should read it, either in your head or aloud, and that'll help you catch, when something doesn't sound right. We talked about verb subject agreement last week. Anything that doesn't sound weird, and sentence fragments will sound weird on their own because you'll be missing something. But here, if you realize you're missing something, see if you can identify the subject, the verb, and the rest of the sentence in order to make that a complete thought. And of course, the punctuation. So, Capri, you want to take this one for us?
Sure. It says, went to the gym on Thursday. Which correction should be made to this sentence? Replace the period with a question mark, insert a verb, insert a subject, or replace the period with an exclamation point. I think we need to insert a subject.
Great. And that's, going to be, I went to the gym on Thursday, or she went to the gym on Thursday. Emma went to the gym on Thursday. Whatever it is, it's going to be in front of went, right?
Mm-hmm.
Went is our subject. And then the rest of it, to the gym on Thursday. All of this is the rest of the complete statement. And move on to the second one. Okay, what's your credit score? Have you applied for a credit card or a bank loan? Now, these are a little tricky because they're going to, sometimes they will want you to make like a compound sentence. Sometimes you're going to be breaking a sentence in two. So this one, you're going to look at, how do we want to end the one sentence? How do we start the next sentence?
I think the answer is B as in boy.
Very good. Yep. So it's a question to start with, right? Context is going to be kind of important here. Remember, it said certain words will start questions: who, how, when. So look for that if you're doing that in a test. Have you applied for a credit card or a bank loan recently? And then chances are good that information regarding your credit score factored into the result. A credit score is a number between 300 and 850 that assesses the likelihood that you will pay back a creditor. A low score is a problem. You are considered a credit risk because you are not likely to pay your debts. If your score is high, you are considered a good risk because you are likely to pay your debts. And then
I think the answer is C.
C, a credit score is based on one's credit history. This history includes payment patterns, longevity, and current debt. If your score is above 700, you are likely to get good lending rates. If your score is below 600, you're likely to get high lending rates. In fact, many creditors use 620 as the determining number for credit approval. If your score is extremely low, you may be rejected for credit. One's credit score is not a stable
I'm sorry, I'm reading the choices. Not a stable number. You can go up or down. I think the answer is B.
close.
I'm sorry, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, there you go.
Up or down. The answer is D.
Okay, yeah. Once you read, this is where it's a little weird because you have to kind of read through the end of the last sentence and the rest of the other one. So it's a little tricky. But yeah, so D, one's credit score is not a stable number, period. It can go up or down, period. We have two complete thoughts there. If you miss or make a late payment, your score will go down. It is possible to raise a low credit score by using the following tips. Pay your bills on time. Also, do not maintain high balances on your credit cards. Do not open credit accounts that you don't plan to use. To have a great credit score, you must show that you are able to manage your credit. Although you need some credit cards and loans, you must manage these accounts effectively. Finally, you should know that a closed account does not
Disappear. That account may still affect your credit. B as in boy.
Great. Yeah. Disappear, period. That account may still affect your credit score. All right, great. So we'll go on to the workbook. Oh.
Hmm.
Let's see here.
Mine went straight to commas and lesson 11. I'm gonna see if I can
Oh,
go back.
so you don't have the workbook part?
No, I do not.
And it went straight to lesson 11.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I can read from your page and then
That'll
I can
work.
have. Okay,
And
cool.
I think is Rachel been did you run into that before?
Yeah, but she fixed most of them, but I don't have the workbook for lesson 10.
Okay, all right. So we'll get a hold of her and make sure that you can follow up and complete this later. And of course, it's going to be on. It'll be on the Google Classroom if you want to go back and look at it. Okay.
Sure, no problem. Sure.
Sounds good. All right. So back to sentence fragments. So a complete sentence has 3 components. Okay, here's what I was wanting to look at here. This next paragraph, a sentence fragment may contain a subject or verb or both, but it does not express, oh, I just lost my page. Oh, okay, there we go. It does not express a complete thought and cannot stand alone as a sentence. Sometimes all you need to add is a subject or verb. For example, was tired becomes I was tired. You also can add a fragment to a complete sentence. For example, add although I was tired to I stayed up late. And you get although I was tired, I stayed up late. And that's another sort of important piece of language arts grammar is understanding this right here. So what we're working with there, although, oh, I want the arrow. Although I was tired is a dependent clause. It requires another clause to make it a complete sentence. So although I was tired, I stayed up late. I stayed up late is an independent clause, right? Because it can stand alone as a sentence. But you can put the two together, you put a comma in the center, and you have a complete sentence. So although I was tired, dependent on the next clause, I stayed up late. So there you get a complete sentence. And we're kind of run into a few of these, I believe, in our next little section here. So if you ever wondered what dependent and independent clauses were about, basically one is a sentence fragment and one is the complete sentence. Okay, and these examples will help you understand that a sentence has a subject and verb and expresses a complete idea. Every sentence begins with a capital letter and ends with the correct punctuation. Okay, so complete idea. My brother is the subject, verb, drives, to finish the idea, a sedan. My brother drives a sedan, makes a complete statement, punctuation with a period makes it complete. We won the game. Now here we're going to end with an exclamation point to express excitement, to emphasize it. We is the subject, won is the verb, the game completes the idea, gives us the rest of the information. Who has the correct answer? So question mark makes that a question statement. Who is the subject? Has is the verb. The correct answer completes the phrase. And then here, these examples show 2 ways of correcting a sentence fragment by combining it into a complete sentence, right? So we're making a complex sentence here. This is wrong. The top one, before going to the store, I made a list of items. So I made a list of items, right? That's a complete sentence. That stands alone by itself. Before going to the store, that doesn't tell me anything, right? If I just walked up to somebody and said, before going to the store, and I walked away, they're probably gonna think I'm a lunatic, right? I didn't give them enough information. So before going to the store, and then here, we add a comma. I made a list of items to buy. So that makes it a complete sentence there. Same thing here, we're just gonna need a conjunction for the 2. The hill was steep, climbed it, not complete thoughts, right? The hill was steep, that's a standalone sentence. That makes sense. I can describe something, the hill was steep, but climbed it, doesn't have a subject, doesn't tell me what's going on. We need more information. So down here, the hill was steep, we add a comma, we add a conjunction, and we add a subject, and then we have a complete complex sentence. The hill was steep, but I climbed it. Now we make sense. Now everything agrees with each other. Okay. And now refining our skills, more practice. So using logic, fragments are usually easy to identify because they sound incomplete. For example, after I ran. Examine the sentences before and after the fragment to determine which works better to complete the idea. Okay, so question 1, watched the game last night. Capri, what do we need to do there?
We need to insert a subject.
Excellent, yes. So I watched the game last night, she watched the game last night, he watched the game last night. The answer is A. After my son came home from school, I helped him with his homework. What do we need to do here? See, that first section is not a complete thought, right? After my son came home from school. What do we need to do to change that?
Froze.
Do we?
I'm sorry, my phone froze. I didn't hear you.
Okay, so what do we need to do here? So after my son came home from school, right? We know that's not a complete statement. Do we first A? Do we
We add
put
a comma. C.
C? Excellent. So we need just the comma, and then that's going to make that complete. After my son came home from school, comma, I helped him with his homework. Because I helped him with his homework is already an independent clause. It already makes sense by itself. Okay, now in energetic electrical designs, we have a memo to all employees. Effective immediately, we will implement a new procedure for responding to client comments on electrical design drawings. Each employee will be provided with an electronic review comments form.
The answer is A.
Yeah, A. So each employee will be provided with a form, electronic review comments form. This form will accompany all revised drawings when such drawings are returned to the clients for review. And then you need a complete sentence here. Which one sounds correct?
B.
B. The form contains 4 columns. Oh, wait. No, no.
Is that a comma? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's C.
Yeah, I need to capitalize the.
Right, because yeah, the form contains 4 columns, period, right? That's a complete sentence. And then capitalize our first letter, next sentence, in the first column. You will note the drawing number or page number. In the second column, you will note the client comment number and whether you agree with the comment. In the third column, you will write the actual how do we complete this one? Client comment, period, client
B.
B. That's going to make a complete, you will write the actual client comment or an accurate summary. So, or, and anything like that is going to further the sentence along. So, B, client comment or an accurate summary. In the fourth column, you will write your response to the comment and record the action to be taken. All sections of the form should be fully completed. The action to be taken column will serve as the basis for
I think the answer is D.
yes, D. Follow up when clients are presented with the revised drawings. The project manager for each team will be responsible for ensuring that all planned actions have been addressed. File a copy of this form in the project folder. Please see your supervisor to address any questions or concerns. And next, read the passage. Dear prospective contractor, dear prospective contractor, we are seeking proposals for an upcoming remodeling project in our home. We wish to remodel our master bathroom before the end of the year. This project will preserve the current layout of the room, although the location of each fixture will remain the same.
I think the answer is D.
Yep. So it's another dependent clause, right? Although the location of each feature will remain the same, we need something to finish that sentence to make it make sense, comma, our plans to do call for replacing several of the main fixtures in the bathroom. We would like to replace the sink to create more counter space. The existing shower must be removed and a new, larger shower constructed in its place. We wish to add a medicine cabinet above the sink.
I think the answer is B.
Yes. Above the sink, as well as a new light and exhaust fan. All one statement. Makes that a complete sentence. The existing linoleum should be torn out and replaced with tile flooring. The wallpaper also needs to be moved.
I think the answer is B.
B again. Yep, the materials used be removed, comma, and the walls and ceiling of the bathroom should be repainted. We hope to use high quality yet affordable materials and fixtures. The materials used should be moderately priced, attractive, and durable. To keep costs down.
C.
Yep. Comma, we. So again, to keep costs down, that's not a complete sentence. To keep costs down, comma, we hope to repurpose many items from the current bathroom. Makes that complete. Our projected budget is approximately $7,000. We look forward to reviewing your proposal. Please return your proposal to us by March 18th, along with your earliest available start date for this project. We will inform you of our decision within 48 hours. Sincerely, Ricardo and Lisa Camacho. And our final one here, join our City Youth Soccer League. Do you have a child below the age of 14 who might want to join a soccer league?
I think the answer is D.
Yep. No. Yes. I'm sorry. I looked up, looked down, and I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a question, right? We talked about this. If it starts with do, did, it's often going to be a question. Do you have a child below the age of 14 who might want to join a soccer league? And then going into that next sentence, we need to make sure that it's a complete statement as well. We are currently signing up members for this fall's Jamestown City Youth Soccer League. Next, soccer is a great sport.
I think the answer is A.
Yeah, you don't need anything, right? You just need that piece of the sentence. Soccer is a great sport for young athletes. There's no other punctuation, nothing needed. It's a fairly simple statement. It involves physical skill and teamwork. Also, the rules don't have to be modified significantly for young players. The rules are easy to understand. Consider registering your children to play. Our league accepts children as young as 4 years old. You might also consider coaching a team or volunteering as a referee.
I think the answer is B, but I didn't get a chance to read the ending of the sentence, so I don't know how it's going to go.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll kind of look through it. You might also consider coaching a team or volunteering as a referee. We know that's just going to be a plain statement, right? So period. And then there is nothing.
Yeah, I think the answer is B.
B. There you go. There is nothing like a Saturday morning soccer game to bring families and communities together. If you don't know much about soccer, it is simple to learn. 2 teams of 11 players meet on a field with a goal at each end. Players move the ball toward the opposing team's goal with any part of their bodies except the arms or hands. Players score points by getting the ball into the opposing team's goal, past the goalie or goalkeeper. At the recreational level, players may assume any of the 3 positions: fullback, midfielder, or forward. Fullbacks are responsible for defense.
I think the answer is B.
B. Let's see here.
Oh no, I'm sorry. The C sounds better.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just trying to read the rest.
Yeah, I know it's tough. So fullbacks are responsible for defense, and then you're going into a new sentence. Midfielders assist with both offense and defense. Got to have both of those parts for that. Okay, and then most young children figure out the game quickly, and it is well suited to children of many different abilities. We hope you consider joining the league. Registration is open until August 15th for our fall league. And I think that's going to do it for today. Any questions on sentence fragments?